In the heart of a bustling neighborhood lived a young girl named Emily. She was 12, bright-eyed, with a head full of chestnut curls, and a heart brimming with compassion. Emily's family had always been on the tougher end of the spectrum. Her parents were out of work, struggling to provide for Emily and her 3 younger siblings. Their small, cramped house, although often echoing with laughter and love, was also steeped in worry and unease. Every day, Emily would walk to her rundown school, her satchel bursting with second-hand books. At school, she worked harder than most, her desire to escape the clutches of poverty giving her an unusual determination for someone her age. After school, instead of joining her friends in play, Emily would rush back home to take care of her siblings, help with household chores, and then lose herself in her books, dreaming of a better life for her family. Despite the hardships she faced, Emily loved her family and her neighborhood deeply. The neighborhood was a lively tapestry of people from all walks of life, and Emily cherished this vibrant community. Every day she saw friendly faces, hardworking parents, playing children, and the elderly who always had a smile or a story to share. Emily's compassion extended not just to the people but also to the environment around her. She noticed the litter on the streets, the stray animals who seemed hungry, and the overworked parents who struggled to find time to walk their dogs. Inspired by her desire to help and make a difference, Emily came up with a plan. "I'll clean the streets, feed the strays, and walk the dogs," she decided, all for free. "Maybe this way, I can make things a little better around here." The idea sparked a hope in her heart. Little did she know, this selfless act would set her on an unexpected journey, weaving her closer to her community than she had ever imagined, and, in turn, bringing her family closer to their dreams. The following day, with her plan etched in her heart and a newfound resolve, Emily set to work. She started cleaning up the litter from the streets. She walked dogs for the busy families in her neighborhood, their grateful smiles a reward in themselves. She used leftovers from her house to feed the stray animals. Word of Emily's deeds quickly spread through the neighborhood. People were surprised and impressed by her selflessness. Emily's acts were small but impactful, touching the lives of her neighbors in ways she hadn't anticipated. However, balancing school, household chores, and her community services soon took a toll on Emily. Her once ample time for homework and study started dwindling. She would come home exhausted, her feet aching and her hands sore. But the biggest punch was the unchanged situation at home. Despite her efforts, her parents were still without work, and their financial predicament seemed as dire as ever. One evening, Emily sat on her front porch, a heaviness in her heart. She had given so much, yet her family's situation had barely improved. The flicker of hope she had nurtured began to waver. But just as Emily was about to surrender to her despair, she had a realization. While her family's financial situation hadn't improved, something else had changed. The sense of community in her neighborhood had strengthened. Emily noticed more people waving at each other, more laughter being shared, more conversations being held. Emily's network had grown larger and stronger than she could ever have imagined. People now knew her, respected her, and trusted her. She realized that she could leverage this network not just to help her community, but also to help her family. With newfound hope, she decided to reach out to her network and ask for their assistance in finding work for her parents. This was her challenge now, and she was determined to meet it head-on. Her neighborhood had transformed because of her, and now it was time for her to use that transformation to help her family. Over the next few days, Emily began to ask her neighbors if they knew of any work opportunities for her parents. Her request was met with immediate support. The people of the neighborhood were quick to help, touched by Emily's dedication to her family and the community. One of the neighbors, Mr. Garcia, who owned a local grocery store, was looking for dependable people to help manage his store. Impressed by Emily's commitment and seeing her parents' desperate need for work, he offered them jobs. Emily's parents were overjoyed and grateful, both for their daughter's initiative and for the opportunity. Simultaneously, another miracle happened. Mrs. Sullivan, a retired school teacher living down the street, had heard about Emily's situation. She had always appreciated Emily's help with her garden and decided it was time to give back. Mrs. Sullivan offered to tutor Emily and her siblings, free of charge, to help them keep up with their schoolwork. At last, Emily's dream was realized. Her selfless acts of kindness had not only led to job opportunities for her parents but also educational help for her and her siblings. The community had rallied around her, rewarding her kindness with kindness of their own. Emily learned valuable lessons about the power of community, networking, and generosity. She discovered that small acts of kindness could create big ripples, affecting not just her life, but the lives of those around her. Emily's story concluded with a newfound sense of optimism and resilience. She had changed her family's life for the better, all by thinking of others before herself. And in the process, she had transformed a neighborhood into a tight-knit community, united by empathy, respect, and reciprocal aid. This was Emily's triumph, a testament to her spirit, her courage, and her unyielding faith in the goodness of people.